Hello dear learners, welcome to my channel. Today in this video we will discuss the syllabus of English literature for BA. This 4-year English program aims at helping the student recognize the nature of a scope of translation, developing an understanding of the literary text on the basis of genre, theme, style and place of origin, developing reading and writing skills and a comprehensive knowledge of the vocabulary so that the student can use their communication skill effectively. Now come to the program specific outcomes in terms of competency. A student can understand the history of English literature and explore its relevance in specific details. A student comprehend and analyze the characteristics of literary genre and their development in chronicle order. It enhance writing skill and understand the fundamental concept of language and communication. It apply the knowledge of literary genres and interdisciplinary fields. As we discussed in our last video that BA first semester student will study paper 1 poetry and the second paper is the gems of short fiction, the paper of short fiction. So come to the first paper, that is poetry A, the poetry of Shakespeare's to 18th century. In this paper, in Unit 1, a student will study literary terms, forms of poetries. Forms of poetries like lyric, sonnet, elegy, ode, ballad, Augustan verse, satire, dramatic monologue, and epic. And epic's scope and type. It means types of epics and scope of epic. In the second unit, the student will study William Shakespeare and his poem True Love, that is sonnet number 116. Next, about Michael Drayton and his work Since There Is No Hell, John Milton and his poem on his blindness. In Unit 3rd, the student will study John Donne and his poem Present in Absence, John Dryden and his poem The Poet Shadwell from Macbeth, Alexander Pope and his poem Lines on Addition from an epistle to Dr. R.B.Tutorial. In Unit 4, student will study Thomas Gray and his work Elegy Written in Country Churchyard and William Blake's London. For this paper, you have a prescribed book, that is Eternal Rhythms, an anthology of British, American and Indian English poetry 2011, edited by the Department of English and MEL University of Lucknow. Now come to the paper number 2, that is short fiction, and short fiction is for minor students also. Those students who have opted English as minor subject, they will study short fiction this paper. So in short fiction paper second, unit first is elements of short fiction, that is plot, characterization, narrative techniques and setting. In unit second, student will study short fictions and short fictions of these writers. These writers are Anton Chekhov, Guy de Maupassant, W.S. Maugham and Catherine Mansfield. Anton Chekhov's The Lament, short story The Lament. The Guy de Maupassant's story The Umbrella. W.S. Maugham's story The Luncheon. Catherine Mansfield's story The Fly. In Unit 3rd, Short Fiction B. Short Fiction B is about William Faulkner, O. Henry, Ernest Hemingway. William Faulkner's work, a short story, a beautiful short story, A Rose for Emily. It's a suspense story. O. Henry, The Last Slave, and Ernest Hemingway's The Capital of the World. In Unit 4, the student will study Mulk Raj Anand, R.K. Narayan, and Anita Desai. And the story of Mulk Raj Anand is the Barbers Trade Union. R.K. Narayan's story, The Trail of Green Blazer. Anita Desai's story, Games of Twilight. And the textbook for these stories or this paper for Lucknow University student of semester 1 is Gems of Short Fiction, an anthology of short stories 2011, edited by the Department of English and MEL, University of Lucknow. Now I am discussing semester 3. In semester 3, student will study paper 5 and paper 6. In paper 5, there is poetry B, that is romantics and Victorians. It means in paper 5, the poetry from romantic period and Victorian period. In unit first of paper 1, student will study social and intellectual background of romantic and Victorian period from 1789 to 1900. In the second unit, the student will study about William Wordsworth, S.D. Coleridge, P.B. Shelley. William Wordsworth's work, William Wordsworth's poetry, The World is Too Much With Us, S.D. Coleridge's poetry, Kubla Khan, P.B. Shelley's To a Skylark. In Unit 3rd, John Keats' Ode to a Nightingale, G.G. Byron's She Walks in Beauty, A.L. Tennyson's Crossing the Bar. In unit 4, the student will study Robert Browning and his poem My Last Touches, Matthew Arnold and his poem Dover Beach, Christina Rossetti and her poem Remembrance. And all the poems in this paper also, in paper of semester 3rd, you can find these poems in the book Eternal Rhythms, which I have told you in for semester 1 also. In third semester, paper 6 is fiction. Paper 6 is for minor student also. And in this paper, fiction, unit first is forms of fiction. Forms of fiction like Picaret's novel, historical novel, gothic novel, epistolary novel, regional novel, dystopia, detective novel, campus fiction, science fiction, space fiction, chick lit, junk fiction. We will discuss all these type of fictions in unit first of paper 6 in third semester. In third semester, the paper in fiction, unit second is Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen's work Pride and Prejudice is a novel, short novel. Unit 3, Charles Dickens and his work Great Expectations. Unit 4, Thomas Hardy and his work The Mayor of Casterbridge. Now come to the semester 5. In semester 5, there is 3 papers which I have discussed in my previous videos. You can watch these videos. In paper 9, History of English Literature, that is for semester 5. Unit first is History from Renaissance to 17th century. Under this heading, in Unit 1, student will study Renaissance and Reformation, Native English Drama, Authorized Version of Bible, Metaphysical Poetry, Neoclassicism, Elizabethan Songs and Sonnet. In Unit 2nd, student will study 18th century and the Romantic Age, growth of novel, precursor of Romanticism, Romanticism and the French Revolution, growth of Romantic literature, prose, poetry, drama and novel. In Unit 3rd, the student will study 19th century, characteristics of Victorian literature, growth of Victorian literature, prose, poetry, drama, novel, pre-Raphaelite poetry and naughty 90s. In Unit 4, the student will study the 20th and 21st century, trends in 20th century literature with special reference to Georgian poetry, imagism, symbolism, movement poetry, 20th century novels, 20th century drama, problem play, theatre of the absurd, kitchen sink drama, expressionism, epic theatre, growth of post-colonial literature, feminism, modernism and postmodernism. And the reference textbook for these these history topics are these. You can take a screenshot from this. This is 10th paper or the second paper for 5th semester, Modern Literature A, Poetry. In unit first, a student will study W.B. Yeats and his work The Second Coming, T.S. Eliot and his poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, Philip Larkin and his poem Church Going, Walt Whitman and in the second unit, Walt Whitman and his poem When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed, Emily Dickinson and her work I Taste a Liquor Never Brewed, Robert Frost's work The Road Not Taken. In Unit 3rd, a student will study Sarojini Naidu and her work Song of Radha, Mahadevi Verma and her poem Why an Introduction, Since You Are in Within Me, Kamla Das and her work My Grandmother's House. In Unit 4, the student will study Sri Aurobindo and his poem The Rose of God, Nazim Ezekiel and the poem Night of a Scorpion, A.K. Ramanujan, the poem A River and Obituary. And again, the reference book is Eternal Rhythm for all these poems. It is the third paper for 5th semester, Functional Skills in Language and Literature. In this paper, we will study unit 1. We will study in unit 1 remedial English grammar and the use of English. Under this heading, we will study parts of speech with emphasis on articles, prepositions, verb, adverb, tenses and their uses. Then idioms and phrases, common errors, question tags, vocabulary building and use of dictionary. In unit 2nd, writing skills. In writing skills, in unit 2nd, student will study or learn essay writing, letter application, biodata, curriculum vitae and resume writing, report writing, dialogue writing, essay writing, email and email etiquette. In unit 3rd, student will learn communication skills, professional and general communication, psychological and physical emotional barriers, group discussion, delivering short speeches, note taking, stress and intonation and rhythm. In unit 4, comprehension and using language through literature, rhetoric and prosody, figures of speech, practical criticism. And the textbook for this paper is R.P. Singh's Skills in Language and Literature. Functional Skills in Language and Literature is the name of book, and this is written by or edited by R.P. Singh sir. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Keep studying, keep learning, keep growing.